I beat my usually gentle and virtuous wife until she was hospitalized, then called the police to turn myself in, because I was reborn. In my past life, not long after our marriage, my wife's first love found her. They were secretly having an affair, and a huge incident caused my wife and me to explode into infamy. My wife and her first love, Wang Chong, got drunk at a bar, had a dispute with others, and fled the scene after committing a crime. They happened to hit a group of high school students leaving evening self-study. Losing control of the car, they crashed into the crowd, causing a severe accident with 9 deaths and 11 serious injuries. Just after receiving my wife's SOS call, I was about to book a ticket to the Maldives to celebrate. The next moment, a group of officers broke down the door and pinned me to the ground, reporting into their walkie-talkie. Suspect apprehended. He was preparing to book a plane ticket to flee the country. I was completely dumbfounded when I was taken to the police station. The bar owner and the teacher at the school gate where the accident occurred both insisted that I was the one who caused trouble at the bar, killed 2 people, and then drove recklessly. I caused a serious traffic accident at the school gate. I frantically proclaimed my innocence, but all the surveillance footage showed that I was the one who caused trouble and drove the car in the accident. The technical officers determined that the surveillance footage had not been tampered with. My wife happened to appear at this time to plead for me, saying that I had a mental breakdown and didn't remember anything I had done. Hearing my wife's tearful cries, I almost thought I really had a mental illness. It wasn't until I saw a smug smile on the corner of my wife's mouth as she lowered her head that I realized it was all a scheme orchestrated for her first love. Forcing myself to calm down, I figured it would take some time for the prosecution to collect evidence, hold a trial, and carry out the death penalty. Some might wonder, would I definitely be sentenced to death? Brothers who have committed the same crime would know, there's no doubt. The only thing to consider is whether to choose a bullet, a shot, or electrocution. Unfortunately, man proposes, God disposes. Excited parents of the students rushed out when I was being transferred to the central prison and sent me on my way directly. It was all over in less than 24 hours. I opened my eyes again, back to the night before my wife and her first love planned to go to the bar. I used the lure of taking my wife out for a big meal to get her into the emergency room of the hospital. Right in front of the surveillance cameras and a group of doctors and nurses, I beat her up. I beat her until she was hospitalized. Then I called the police to turn myself in. Officers arrived at the emergency room. Who called the police about the assault? I raised my hand like a model student. Officer here. I beat someone. I'm turning myself in. The officers looked at me suspiciously. A seemingly honest-looking guy with glasses. You beat someone? Yes, I beat someone. I'm turning myself in. My wife was beaten so badly she was hospitalized. After saying that, I took the officers to the emergency room and pointed to my wife on the hospital bed, bruised and battered, with cotton balls stuffed in her nose to stop the bleeding. Look, she almost went to the ICU. Seeing how actively I was cooperating and confessing, the officers got the emergency room doctors and nurses to confirm the situation, checked the surveillance footage, confirmed everything was correct, and prepared to handcuff me. Just as I was about to be taken to the police car, my wife, Baijia, stumbled out, supporting herself against the wall. Officer, don't misunderstand. I fell myself. It has nothing to do with my husband. Don't arrest him. Everyone around was moved by this sincere scene and began to condemn me in low voices. I raised an eyebrow. Lying through your teeth, you fell and got those palm prints on your face? My wife, Baijia, was furious. Gao Yi, have you lost your mind? I'm trying to save you. I looked up at the sky at a 45-degree angle. Since ancient times, rewarding good and punishing evil is the foundation of the country. The rule of law is essential for social stability and prosperity. We can't bend the law just because we're husband and wife. I turned to look at the bewildered officer. Tell me, am I right? The officer gave a thumbs up without hesitation. Then he put me in a car without looking back. Baijia limped over to plead for help, but was kicked away by me. No matter how she tried to dissuade me, the rule of law must be implemented to the end. At the interrogation room, the officer saw that I had voluntarily surrendered and had a good attitude, so he decided to detain me for 3 days first. This directly angered me. 3 days wasn't enough. I directly overturned the lamp and table in front of me and happily received a 5-day tour of the fortress. Looking at the cold, reinforced concrete and eating simple meals, I felt more fulfilled than ever. Surely they won't come looking for me again. No, this isn't secure enough. Officer, I'm innocent, let me out. Every few minutes, I had to show my face and reach out to check in under the surveillance camera. Thinking back to my previous life, my wife's white moonlight was Principal Wong, the young and promising head of a private high school. After being parachuted into our high school, he became my wife's superior's superior. I forgot to mention, my wife is a high school English teacher. She's fair-skinned, beautiful, and has long legs, and her fluent and authentic London accent can make you experience exotic customs. Our originally happy and fulfilling family life changed after her first love was parachuted in as the principal. Ever since Principal Wong took office, my wife hasn't come home to cook for me. Every day, she was either working overtime preparing lessons or attending meetings to tutor students. It made me think that our third-tier city was about to transform into an international metropolis. Then there was that night when my wife put on Balenciaga to reward me. She got a call and was called out, claiming that if she wanted to be recognized, she had to have a good relationship with her leader. Then Principal Wong took her to a wild party at a bar. My wife, Bai Jia, who was a stunning beauty, was harassed as soon as she entered the bar. Eventually, it escalated into a bloody sacrifice. Afterwards, Principal Wong drove recklessly while drunk and caused a terrible tragedy in front of his own school. And I knew nothing about this, entertaining myself at home. All the witnesses, physical evidence, and surveillance footage showed that I was the one who caused trouble and injured people at the bar, and then drove drunk and killed many people. At that time, I couldn't figure out how I could have done those outrageous things when I was just staying at home. But since I've been given a chance to start over, I can't stop those two from going out to have fun. I just need to protect myself. 5 days later, I came out of the detention center. Just as I was about to take a deep breath of the fresh air outside, a few reporters surrounded me. Then came a wave of inexplicably angry people, verbally attacking me. "You're the beast who caused my wife to be killed and injured when she went to pick up our daughter from school. Give me back my life." My son was top 3 in his grade. He was headed for Tsinghua or Peking University. "You bastard killed him. I'll kill you." Seeing the angry mob about to rush me, I quickly backed up a few steps toward the detention center entrance. The warden watched me backpedal inside, looking utterly speechless. "Gao Li, what are you doing?" Who gets released from detention only to walk right back in. Although I had no idea what was going on with the crowd outside, it was relatively safe inside the detention center. Still shaken, I looked at the warden. "Chief, there's a mob outside trying to kill me. I can't go out there." The warden rolled his eyes. "What did you do? Sleep with someone's wife or daughter? Why else would they want to kill you? Let me go check." With that, the warden walked out the main gate. Seeing the massive crowd outside, he froze for a moment, then shouted for everyone to calm down. Pointing to a tan, middle-aged man, he asked, "Friend, why are you all gathered here?" Seeing the uniformed warden, tears streamed down the man's face. "Officer, you have to help us. That bastard Gao, he destroyed my family. He must be sentenced to death. Immediately." The warden glanced back at me. I shrugged innocently. The warden calmed the man. "First, tell me what happened, and I'll investigate. We won't let any criminal escape justice, but we also won't frame an innocent man." The man pointed a calloused finger at me. "That bastard Gao, he was drunk driving last night and killed a crowd of people. My poor wife and daughter were among them. That murderer must pay with his life. Even if Gao, he is crazy, he must be punished severely. Yeah, he has to pay." Facing the crowd's accusations, someone even started live streaming on their phone. I was completely dumbfounded. I've been locked up in detention this whole time. How could they possibly accuse me? Seeing the middle-aged man calm down slightly, I carefully stepped forward. "Sir, you can eat whatever you want, but you can't just say whatever you want. You can't accuse people without proof." Spurred by my words, the man started fumbling for his phone, but after searching, he couldn't produce any evidence. Just as I thought it was a false accusation, a young man opened a short video app. This video has millions of views. See for yourself. He played the video on his phone, holding it right in front of my face. In the video, I was wearing an Armani suit, arm wrapped around my wife by Gia's waist, walking into a place that looked like a bar or nightclub. Then the perspective shifted indoors. I appeared to get into an argument and smashed an ace of spades bottle over 2 young men nearby. After they were down and unresponsive, I went over and hit them with several more bottles. Then I grabbed my wife, ran out, jumped into a red sports car, and sped off. The next scene showed the same red sports car roaring down the street at high speed before plowing into the gates of a high school, just as students were leaving evening classes. The footage was so brutal I couldn't watch. Seeing me silent, the young man slapped me hard across the face. Stunned by the slap, I quickly retreated. Logically, I'd been in detention for 5 days straight. How could this supposed evidence even exist? Fortunately, the warden stepped in. "Everyone calm down. There must be some mistake. Gao Yi has been in our detention center for 5 full days. How could he have possibly committed a crime last night? Oomph. You're obviously covering for him. How much did Gao Yi bribe you to lie like this? Seeing his chance to be the center of attention, the young man live streaming immediately started playing the people's champion. Gao Yi, my son, if you did it, just admit it. Be a man. Take responsibility. Face the consequences bravely. I froze when I heard that voice. Looking over, I saw Mom. Her eyes were red as she stared at me. The crowd parted to let her through. Mom walked right up to me. Son, I saw what happened that night, too. Just confess. Don't fight it uselessly. Just then, a slender figure in white rushed over and slapped my other cheek hard. Gao Yi, you've done enough evil. Now you're trying to slander Principal Wang? You deserve to rot in jail. The right corner of Principal Wang's mouth curled into a sinister smirk. He walked up to me. Brother Gao Yi, what's done is done. Just accept your punishment and confess. Don't worry, I'll take good care of Bai Jie for you. Now, hurry up and kneel to apologize to the victims' families. Repent, and perhaps you can find peace. Yes, son, Mom chimed in, shaking her head with disappointment. Even after you beat your wife so badly, she ended up in the hospital, she's still hoping you get out soon. I can't believe you're still refusing to see reason. I immediately caught the flaw in her statement. Mom, if you know I beat my wife and put her in the hospital, then you must also know I called the cops on myself right after and got locked up here. So how could I possibly have been out committing crimes last night? The warden stepped forward again. Gao Yi has been here undergoing corrective education these past few days. It's impossible for him to have done those things outside. The victims' families and the onlookers were stunned. The warden didn't look like he was joking. The comments on the live stream exploded with discussion. Wait, this Gao Yi guy was in detention for 5 days, but the evidence shows he was beating people up in a club and drunk driving yesterday too? No way, does he know the shadow clone jutsu or something? Seeing the tension ease slightly, I stepped forward again. I have no idea where that video came from, but I've been locked up here the entire time. The officers here can vouch for me. Gradually, the mood shifted. Some people began to suspect the video might be faked. Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, personnel from the technical investigation unit took the video for analysis. The result, however, was baffling. The surveillance footage was authentic, untampered, and the person in it was positively identified as me based on appearance. At this, both the crowd on site and the live stream viewers went wild again. I looked over at Bai Jie and Principal Wang in the middle of the crowd, meeting her eyes. Bai Jie frowned, then stepped forward. That is Gao Yi in the video. We've been married for years. I couldn't possibly be mistaken. He has a history of intermittent psychiatric episodes. He probably doesn't remember what happened. With that, Bai Jie pulled a medical certificate from her bag. A history of mental illness? Since when? How come I don't know about it? Taking a closer look, it really was a certificate from a psychiatric hospital. And the date was 6 months ago. Could Bai Jie have been planning to frame me since 6 months ago? Or maybe this kind of certificate can be issued on the spot, just backdated. Seeing me stunned and lost in thought, Bai Jie pointed at me and shouted, he definitely snuck out and had an episode. That's why he did these things. Seeing this, Principal Wang chimed in supportively, pumping his fist. Yes, that must be it. Gao Yi is mentally ill. He went to the hospital for treatment, then snuck out to commit these crimes. The onlookers saw this, discussed it amongst themselves for a bit, and then started condemning me again. The director frowned and yelled. During his detention, Gao Yi never left the detention center. How could he go to the hospital? The director had barely finished speaking when a young police officer walked over, looking uneasy. Yesterday, Gao Yi had diarrhea. We took him to the hospital for a quick checkup. As soon as these words were spoken, Principal Wang strode up to me and the director, highly agitated. See, I was right. Gao Yi left the detention center yesterday to go to the hospital. The evidence is solid. Sentence him quickly. Now, even the director was looking at me strangely. Damn it, don't tell me I got reincarnated just to end up with the same result. That's too pathetic. I quickly looked at the officers. I suddenly got an upset stomach yesterday and went to the hospital, but several officers took me. I never left your sight. How could I have committed any crime? The young officer frowned. You were under our supervision most of the time, but there was a short period when you weren't. Sensing the atmosphere turning sour, I quickly explained, I just went to the bathroom for a few minutes, that's all. Stop trying to argue. Bai Jie already said you finish in a few seconds every time. A few minutes is more than enough time for you to commit those heinous acts. Wang Chong snorted. Instantly, the men present cast sympathetic glances my way. Damn it, how do I explain this? A few seconds is impossible, but I can't exactly prove it to everyone, and proving it wouldn't help anyway. Just then, Bai Jie dropped to her knees before me with a thud. Hubby, it's all my fault. I couldn't talk you out of it. Please, just confess properly. Let's try to get a lenient sentence. From now on, I'll eat vegetarian and pray every day to atone for your sins. After speaking, she kowtowed heavily on the ground 3 times. The crowd on site and the viewers in the influencer's livestream were all moved by my wife Bai Jie's display of deep emotion, and they cursed my refusal to confess even more vehemently. If things didn't take a turn, I'd most likely rot in prison, or even face a firing squad. Quiet down. The one who smashed the place up and hit the person wasn't Gao Yi. It wasn't Gao Yi. A furious roar suddenly came from the back of the crowd. It instantly grabbed everyone's attention. A man wearing sunglasses and a mask pushed his way through the crowd with difficulty, holding his hands high. The bar owner gave the man a shove. You can drink whatever you want, but you can't just say anything. The security cameras recorded everything clearly. The man in sunglasses took them off, and someone in the crowd suddenly shouted, "Isn't that reporter Zhao? The one who exposed the gutter oil scandal?" "Yeah, reporter Zhao is a good man, but why are you defending this animal now? Did he bribe you?" "He must have. You didn't see it with your own eyes, the utterly despicable things that bastard Gao Yi did yesterday." The crowd started denouncing me again, and reporter Zhao also got caught in the barrage of insults. Reporter Zhao raised his hand, gesturing for quiet. "If I wanted money, countless people offer me benefits back then. Gao Yi is just an ordinary person. What benefits could he possibly give me?" Seeing the crowd quiet down to listen, reporter Zhao spoke calmly. "They might have evidence proving Gao Yi's guilt over there, but I have evidence right here proving he didn't do those things." The scene erupted in an uproar. Reporter Zhao shot a meaningful glance at Bai Jie and Wang Chong, then continued, "A few days ago, I was falsely accused and held in criminal detention for 24 hours. That's where I met Gao Yi. He told me his wife, Bai Jie, was having an affair with a man named Song Chun and asked me to help gather evidence after I got out. He also said the two of them might do something drastic to frame him." Seeing he had everyone's full attention, reporter Zhao swallowed and continued, "After getting out, I started tailing Gao Yi's wife and Wang Chong. Furthermore, during the time Gao Yi was at the hospital, my assistant secretly followed him. For those few minutes Gao Yi wasn't under the officer's direct supervision, my assistant recorded everything. Of course, since Gao Yi was using the toilet, the footage can't be shown publicly, only to the officers." Then, reporter Zhao's assistant played the video footage covering the few minutes from when I entered the bathroom until I came out. Netizens immediately started analyzing. Is it possible he ran out and committed the crime during those few minutes? You try it. The two locations are over 10 kilometers apart. Maybe if he flew there on a rocket. Following analysis by some netizens, the tide of public opinion began to shift. We almost wrongly accused a good person. This Gao Yi guy seems pretty honest. I doubt he'd do something so despicable. Yeah. And just now, people in the crowd were pushing him, and I think someone even punched him, but he didn't even fight back. Seeing the situation turning against them, Bai Jie, Wang Chong, and my mom lowered their heads, preparing to slip away quietly. After they've harmed me so badly, how could I possibly let them get away? "Wife, are you planning to openly elope with your old flame?" My shout directly exposed their relationship. Bai Jie stumbled, nearly falling. She turned, looked at me, and stammered, "Double in nonsense. Are you talking about?" I pointed at reporter Zhao. "What nonsense?" "When reporter Zhao first came over, he said I suspected you were cheating. That's why I asked him to investigate, which is how he happened to uncover the bar trashing and the hit and run." The crowd and the live stream chat instantly exploded. But Bai Jie, like a cat whose tail had been stepped on, bristled instantly, pointing her finger at my nose and yelling furiously, "Stop trying to distract everyone. Wang Chong and I are just normal colleagues. You should just confess properly. The surveillance footage is perfectly clear. It was all you." My alibi was solid and convincing, yet they still refused to back down. My mom stepped forward. "Son, although Mom doesn't know what method you used to fabricate this evidence, I was the one who left the house with you yesterday. I saw you go into that bar with my own eyes. Don't worry, the family will sell everything we own if we have to, just to compensate the victims' families for you. You must be having a mental breakdown right now, hallucinating that Xiao Jie and Xiao Wang are having an affair." Hearing this, Wang Chong nodded furiously. Right. Bai Jie and I just have a normal professional relationship." I scoffed, strode over, grabbed Wang Chong's arm, and held it up. "Everyone, I know we shouldn't air our dirty laundry in public, but today's events involve several lives. I have to uphold justice, even against my own family. The real culprit who trashed the bar, fled the scene of an accident, and caused multiple casualties is this man right beside me, Wang Chong. The crowd erupted. Wang Chong's face went deathly pale as he struggled violently to break free from my grip. Gao Yi, are you crazy? What nonsense are you spouting? Gao Yi, stop this nonsense. Having a son like you is a disgrace. Honey, we're willing to face the consequences with you. Just stop lashing out at everyone. These two women's words sounded sweeter than honey. In my previous life, I couldn't prove my innocence. At this exact moment, Bai Jie produced the already signed divorce papers, leaving me to bear all the consequences alone. Wang Chong explained, lacking conviction, Gao Yi, Bai Jie, and I grew up together. I know you're bothered by it, but there's really nothing going on between us. Sharp-eyed viewers immediately posted insightful comments. If I hadn't been watching this stream from the beginning, I'd think Bai Jie and Wang Chong were the married couple. I swear, if those two aren't having an affair, I'll do a handstand and eat crap live on stream. Look how close they're standing. They're practically glued to each other. Previous commenter is Sherlock Holmes reincarnated. The streamer read these comments aloud nearby. Bai Jie's face instantly darkened as she glared at me. Gao Yi, whatever my relationship with Wang Chong is, it doesn't change the fact that you committed these crimes. She then pulled up her sleeve, revealing skin covered in black and blue bruises. Still don't know why I won't help you? You're the one who beat me so badly, I ended up in the hospital. The onlookers turned towards me, eating up the drama. Seeing me remain silent, my mom strode forward, raising her hand to slap me again. Reporter Zhao, sharp-eyed and swift, intercepted her. What do you think you're doing? The police are right here. Are you trying to assault him again? My mom snatched her hand back annoyed, shooting him a glare. I'm disciplining my own son. It's none of your damn business. Murmurs started spreading through the crowd. Something's fishy here. If Gao Yi didn't do it, why are both his wife and his own mother against him? I think this Gao Yi is just trying to escape the blame. He looks quiet, but he's rotten inside. He probably bribed the police and reporter Zhao, and now he's trying to frame someone else. Overhearing this, Wang Chong stepped forward, crying foul. Gao Yi, jealousy must have twisted you. You've gone completely mad, resorting to bribing officers and reporters. Before I could even speak, the surroundings became noisy again. The crowd split into factions, arguing amongst themselves. Some supported my innocence. Others demanded I be sentenced immediately. And of course, many were just watching the drama unfold. I turned to my mother, my eyes filled with disappointment. Mom, I want to know too. I'm your biological son. Why were you so convinced from the very beginning that I did these things? I pointed towards the phone, streaming live. That video isn't high definition. The person trashing the bar just looks like me. If you hadn't shouted my name right at the start, telling me to confess and accept punishment, everyone wouldn't have been so quick to assume it was me. Mom snorted coldly. I side with reason, not family. Wang Chong looks nothing like you. It's obvious you're just slandering him. I shook my head, thinking back carefully. I always wondered why Mom never really treated me like a mother treats her child. And she only came home once every few months. Mom cut me off. Stop talking nonsense. You broke the law. As your mother, I won't cover for you. I turned to reporter Zhao. The results of his investigation had left me utterly shocked when I first heard them. Reporter Zhao clapped his hands loudly to get everyone's attention, then held up a report in front of the camera. Everyone, look at this DNA test report. Gao Yi has no blood relationship with his mother. Instead, it's Wang Chong who shares a blood relationship with her. In other words, Gao Yi is not her biological son. Wang Chong is. Pausing for effect, reporter Zhao continued. Further investigation uncovered a shocking conspiracy. Gao Yi and Wang Chong were born in the same hospital. Ms. Ma Dongmei, wanting her own son to have a rich and prosperous life, secretly swapped her baby with the child of the Wang family, the wealthiest family in our city. Just like that, Gao Yi, who should have been born into wealth, became an ordinary person, while Wang Chong, the son of working-class parents, ended up in a wealthy family. If they succeeded in eliminating Gao Yi this time, even if the truth came out later, the Wang family would have no choice but to accept the situation and stick with the lie. Everyone's jaws dropped. My mom, no, it's better to call her Ma Dongmei. Her face turned livid. Her lips trembled, and for a long moment, she couldn't utter a single word. Wang Chong guiltily lunged forward, trying to snatch the report from the camera's view. It's fake. Forged. I don't even know her. An old man near the camera glanced at the DNA report and pointed a finger at him. Cut the act. The three of you arrived together right from the start. What do you mean you don't know each other? The three of them were singing the same tune, just trying to force Gao Yi to confess, an older woman nearby chimed in. The people present weren't fools. They instantly understood what was going on. The video is perfectly clear. It was Gaoi, Wang Chong yelled, standing on his tiptoes. Besides, I look nothing like that pathetic wreck. How could it possibly be me? There are HD cameras in the detention center, and the one time he went out, we were with him. Are you accusing the detention center of an inside job? Furthermore, reporter Zhao added, in the undercover cases I've worked on these past few years, involving tens, even hundreds of millions, countless people have tried to bribe me, even threatened my family's lives. When have I ever compromised? The statements from the detention center chief and reporter Zhao showed their intense displeasure and swung public opinion back in my favor. The only remaining problem was the videos from the bar and the car accident near the school. The school car accident footage only showed a red sports car causing the crash, without capturing my face, so that part was still debatable. But the bar surveillance footage was crystal clear. It was definitely my face. Seeing the tide of public opinion turning, both in the crowd and online, Wang Chong flew into a rage. Are you all fucking blind? He screamed. How can that lowlife Gao compare to me? He's just a worthless pauper who doesn't belong in polite society. He then pointed at Bai Jia. And his wife? She came in my bed willingly. Gao Yi, you've been properly cuckolded. Were those horns well? I just smiled and shook my head. Bai Jia is my ex-wife. You two can do whatever you like. With that, I had reporter Zhao fetch the signed divorce agreement from my place. Unfortunately, Wang Chong had no interest in looking at it. He pointed straight at my nose, yelling, "You broke bastard. You'll rot in whatever hole you crawl into." He got more agitated, looking like he was about to lunge at me. Suddenly, an officer beside him grabbed his arm and slapped handcuffs on him. Wang Chong was stunned, then panic set in. "Officer, what's this? I just cursed at him a bit. Surely that doesn't warrant handcuffs?" The middle-aged officer snorted coldly. "Cursing doesn't get you cuffed, but we're not arresting you for a few dirty words." Hearing this, Wang Chong started barking wildly. "Everyone look. See? The cops are clearly working with Gao Yi. They have no evidence, so they're just going to detain me." Ma Dongmei shrieked along with him. "Come look, everyone. The authorities are lawless, arresting people without cause." As all eyes focused on them, Wang Chong challenged the officer. "Tell me then, officer, what crime did I commit?" The officer cuffing Wang Chong replied icily, "You don't know what you did yesterday. You've got some nerve, coming here to the authorities' doorstep to twist the truth." "Nonsense. What does trashing that bar have to do with me? It was obviously Gao Yi." Wang Chong frantically denied. The middle-aged officer scoffed. "What century are you living in? We don't just rely on surveillance footage anymore. Ever heard of fingerprint analysis? We found your prints all over the bar scene and on the victim. I don't know how you managed the makeup to look so much like Gao Yi, but the fingerprints at the bar and in the getaway car, all yours." Wang Chong's eyes turned red as he kept trying to argue. "You didn't investigate properly. You're jumping to conclusions. It was obviously Gao Yi wearing gloves planted with my fingerprints. That stuff can be faked." "Wait, I have more evidence here," reporter Zhao shouted, stepping in front of Wang Chong. He played a video recording. In the video, Wang Chong was in a basement, putting on a special flexible mask. Once it was on, he looked exactly like me. As the video played, reporter Zhao continued, "I've recently been investigating a case involving altering people's appearances. Clearly, Wang Chong was involved. With this kind of mask on, even close friends and family might not be able to tell the difference. Wang Chong wore this mask the day he committed the crime." The whole truth came tumbling out. Wang Chong, the rich heir, had actually been switched at birth by his biological mother, Ma Dongmei, into the wealthy Wang family. To secure the massive family fortune, he framed and tried to eliminate the true heir, Gao Yi. As for the affair with Bai Jia, perhaps it was just the spoiled brat's twisted desire to steal not only the man's fortune, but also his wife. "So it was you. Pay up," the bar owner yelled, glaring at Wang Chong. "My wife and child are gone because of him. He needs to pay with his life." A crowd of enraged victims surged forward. Luckily, this was right outside the detention center, and several officers shielded Wang Chong. Otherwise, he might have been dragged away by the furious families, just like I was in my past life. Wang Chong was still raging impotently, yelling about how his father was the richest man in the city and could pay them off. Meanwhile, seeing things go south, Bai Jia and Ma Dongmei tried to slip away. I stepped directly in front of them. "Where do you two think you're going? Wang Chong couldn't have done all this alone. He needed your cooperation." My words snapped the crowd out of their singular focus. "That's right. These two women are accomplices. They need to go to jail, too. Pay up. Go to jail. Make them pay with their lives." Bai Jia and Ma Dongmei were instantly surrounded by the agitated mob. In the ensuing scuffle, something soft fell from Ma Dongmei. An old man picked it up. It was a lifelike mask. He was so scared he flung it away. The crowd instantly recoiled. Reporter Zhao caught the mask and examined it. Yes, this is the one from the video recording. This is what allowed Wang Chong to impersonate Gao Yi, isn't it? How did you know? Ma Dongmei clapped her hand over her mouth. Reporter Zhao held up the mask. I was mistakenly arrested precisely because I was investigating this. It seems this case runs deep. With the most crucial piece of evidence exposed, Wang Chong finally snapped. He glared viciously at me. It's all your fault, Gao Yi. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have been separated from my real mother since childhood. And Bai Jia, I was her first love, her childhood sweetheart. Why the hell did she marry you? Wang Chong grew increasingly crazed. Gao Yi, once you're dead, everything will come back to me. Ha ha ha. Watching the raving Wang Chong, the old saying, birds die seeking food, humans die seeking wealth, felt more potent than ever. Ma Dongmei wasn't my real mother, and she was rarely home anyway. What was there to envy? And Bai Jia, I never understood why she married me, only to run off and fool around with Wang Chong right after. If blame was to be assigned, it lay with those two women. How did it end up on my shoulders? And so, this unbelievable drama finally concluded. Wang Chong was arrested, and with a solid chain of evidence, he was likely facing execution. The compensation owed for the damages he caused fell onto his accomplice, Ma Dongmei. Poor Ma Dongmei had schemed her entire life, only for it all to end in nothing. Not only did she fail to secure the wealthy family's assets, but she also sent her biological son to his doom. Plus, she was saddled with a debt so massive she couldn't possibly repay it, even working for the rest of this life and the next. Not long after, word came that after finishing a shift at work, she walked to the edge of the Huangpu River and leaped in, abruptly ending her own disgraceful life. Becoming a rich heir overnight took some getting used to. The interest earned on my allowance in Alipay each month was more than my previous monthly salary. Bai Jia came looking for me a few times after that. Finding the door shut in her face repeatedly, she also struggled to find work, having become quite the infamous figure. One night, she tried to climb the wall into the Wang family villa. She accidentally fell from the high wall, crippling herself. I heard she eventually married an old bachelor in some remote village. A sad fate, indeed.